Some really disturbing news today. This is hot off the presses. There is a new report from NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the US. If you don't know what they do, they run CyberTip. So here in Canada, cybertip.ca, they accept reports from the general public, they accept reports of CSAM, exploitation, etc., online harms involving children. And NCMEC essentially does the same thing in the US, except there is a mandate for US technology providers to make reports. So it is mandatory for companies like Google and Facebook and whatnot to do mandatory reporting on their platforms. So if there is a report or suspected CSAM report involving a child on their platforms, they have to contact CyberTip, they have to contact NCMEC and make this as a formal report. From there, NCMEC will distribute the information to relevant police authorities. So that's one major thing out of the way, which you should know already what NCMEC does. If you're following this channel, if you're interested in protecting children online, it's just something that we all are kind of following who are in this work or in this line of work. But when you're not in this line of work, you might not know, and that's okay, but NCMEC does far more than just missing and exploited children. You've seen stuff like missing children on milk containers and the backs of transport trucks. This is most of the time NCMEC. But when they have their CyberTip technology that is essentially this reporting system for technology companies, and they compile this data, and today we are reviewing the data that they have compiled from 2021. So the last time that they compiled these numbers was last March, so March 2021, and that was from 2020. And if you recall, if you've taken a look at our socials, you'll know that for instance, on our Defend Instagram, last year we published some infographics talking about this big number of 20 million child sex abuse reports on Facebook platforms in 2020. To be exact, it is 20,307,216 child sex abuse reports on all of Facebook's platforms from 2020. And I have only reviewed a very small glimpse of a press release from NCMEC, and they have essentially stated in the press release that one of the first statements was 35% increase from 2020. And that to me is alarming. I can't wait to get into the thick of it. So we are going to be pulling up their report right now, and let's review this together. So this is essentially the summary of their report. I believe the full report is like a long PDF document. NCMEC, missingkids.org is their website if you want to go. They have a section on here for help for families. They have legal resources. So if you're interested in suing one of these tech companies, there's like a guide for doing this. There's, tips and possibly information on how to get your child's image offline. Let's go into their little preamble here. So right off the bat, here's some alarming numbers. In 2021, NCMEC cyber tip line received 29 million reports. 29 million reports of suspected sexual exploitation, child exploitation, an increase of 35%. 35% from 2020. So think about this for a minute. When you allow your child to go on a computer the next time that they are wanting to go and do something, cyber tip line receives reports about multiple forms of online sexual exploitation, reports regarding CSAM, legally referred to as child pornography, make up the largest reporting category. Over 99% of the reports received involve incidents of suspected CSAM. So CSAM is just obviously child sex abuse material, an acronym for that. The number of reports for nearly every category increased in 2021. Possession, manufacture, distribution of CSAM, there were 21 million reports in 2020. Obviously, the beginning of the pandemic, and what they were looking at here was from January 2020 to December 2020. And what we're looking at here is 8 million more, almost 8 million more reports of child sex abuse reports. So child sex abuse, I'm kind of clumping together in this category of generally something that is involving all of these different types of reports. So child sex tourism, child sex trafficking, child sexual molestation, misleading domain names. So this would be something where somebody, gets a domain, I guess, and then wants to essentially hijack you to somewhere else that has this kind of material, maybe. I'm not exactly sure what this category means. Misleading words or digital images. So this might be misleading advertising, for instance, that might take you to a place that has something else that is involved here. Not positive. Online enticement of children for sexual acts. Huge increase here. So online enticement. So an adult wanting to entice a child to meet up. Any number here is too much. 37,000 in 2020, 44,000. An increase of approximately 6,000 reports, 6,000 plus reports in 2021 over the period of the pandemic. And this is what has been reported. This is not including anything that hasn't been reported, obviously. So, this is just what most people believe in this industry is the tip of the iceberg. Unsolicited, obscene material sent to a child. So a naked image sent to a child online. 3,500 reports in 2020, 5,100 reports in 2021. But today we are going to take a look at the different platforms. So if you recall, there is a breakdown of platform by platform the technology platforms, and all of these numbers are going to essentially be reflected on each of those technology platforms. So do you want to know how many Facebook reports there were in 2021 compared to the 20,307,216. So of this 21 million reports in 2021, 90% or more, I'm not sure what this percentage is, but this was from Facebook. This number right here was from Facebook alone, Facebook platforms alone. So that includes WhatsApp, Messenger, Facebook, and Instagram. So just in 2021, 20 million of these reports came from Facebook platforms. Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and Facebook. So significant increase. A little over 7 million more reports this year. And we're going to see, I have downloaded this PDF document showing us the electronic service providers, so the tech companies. Let's take a look at the rest of this report though. Number of reports by source from the general public. From the general public, 240,000 reports came in from the cyber tip line directly. But when it says the ESP essentially likely did either a scan. So the ESP, the electronic service provider, scanned something on their servers and then made a report, or they received a call, or they received a report from the general public on their platforms. For instance, the reporting mechanism, for instance, on Instagram or Facebook, if you suspected something to be, sexual in nature, for instance, on Instagram or Facebook, this could include this, I believe. This is not just the ESP alone making this number. I don't believe that all of this is due to the tech company coming up with this number on themselves. In 2021, cyber tip reports provided by ESPs included 40 million images, of which 16.9 million were unique, and 44 million, almost 45 million videos, of which 5 million were unique. Cyber tip line files. Reports made to the cyber tip line by ESPs can include images, videos, or other files related to what's being reported, like suspected CSAM. This content must be analyzed along with the report. Unfortunately, child sex abuse images and videos are often circulated and shared online repeatedly. CSAM of a single child victim can be circulated for years after the initial abuse occurred. Think about that. The next time that you trust your child with an electronic device, or when your child is unsupervised around people that you don't know, So 44, so obviously what is being reported here more often today is video files. Video files are the big increase here, I believe, over last year. So file review, triage, and technology enhancements. So essentially what they do is they hashtag or they hash an image or video once they receive it. And essentially they break it down into its tiny bits of data. And that way the actual image isn't being searched when they try and make this assumption as to when they essentially make this determination of whether something is novel child pornography or whether or not it has been shared again. They aren't keeping a database that they are essentially going back and searching. What they're doing actually is breaking down that image. So if this is an image right here, they will break down it into millions of little pieces. And then they will assign ones and zeros to each pixel of each part of that video or image. And then that will become searchable. The ones and zeros essentially in this string of numbers that becomes sort of this certificate. This certificate essentially is something that will provide law enforcement, for instance, some information as to whether or not this is something that's already been circulating. So if it's already been shared, and it will also, figure out how much new content is being produced. And here is that number. So 4,260 potential new child victims of CSAM just in 2021, which is remarkable. So the rest of this number here could be that, the rest of this 21 million or 29 million could be from repeated sharing and distribution of previous material. Hash sharing. So, okay, so this is what I was talking about the hashes. Another benefit of recent enhancements to the cyber tip line is the ability to grow our list of hash values, which is part of an important initiative to stop the spread of CSAM. Hash values are unique digital fingerprints. So this is a better way to describe it, obviously. It's a digital fingerprint, basically. So you have an image or a video, and it will then have a digital fingerprint rather than using the whole image to compare to. So they essentially just create a list of hash values to scan. So abusive content can be identified, reported, and removed. Likewise, when NCMEC receives a report about a child sex abuse image with a known hash value, can be quickly determined if the image has already been reported and if the child in the image has been identified. In 2021, the average response time following a NCMEC notification for images was less than 2 days. I have not seen this report. I downloaded the other one. We often receive cyber tip reports about imagery of child sexual exploitation that's being shared. In some cases, the reports made by child victims themselves, as I said before. So children or their caregivers making the reports on the technology platforms. The cyber tip line is a lifeline for families who are struggling to have their explicit images of their child taken down. After visually reviewing the reported imagery, NCMEC staff members notify the electronic service provider where the image and video has been shared. Based on how a company or their platform operates, content may be removed or users blocked or banned from their services in response to a notification. Once a notice has been sent to a company, NCMEC staff manually track the response and will generate additional notices until we can confirm the content is addressed. Wow. NCMEC may notify a company based on CSAM exploitative predatory text. Of the 29 million reports in 2021, 93% resolved to locations outside of the US. Wow. Most cyber tip global response. So most cyber tip reports involve the upload of child sex abuse material by users outside of the US. This is largely due to the fact that ESPs must comply with 18 US Code 2258A, which requires, so this is like a pornography requirement to essentially put onto the user a requirement that they indicate that what's being noted in an upload is someone that is over the age of 18. This is basically an affirmation requirement when uploading an image to a service provider if nudity is permitted on that platform, which requires US companies to report if they've become aware of suspected CSAM on their platforms and servers because these companies have users worldwide and those incidents are reported to NCMEC. By extension, the cyber tip line serves as a global clearinghouse. Most cyber tip reports of CSAM include indicators of where the files were uploaded. It is important to note that the country-specific numbers may be impacted by the use of proxies and anonymizers. In addition, each country applies its own national laws. Let's download that one as well. These numbers are not indicative of the level of child sex abuse in a particular country. Case management tool. With 93% of cyber tip line reports resolving internationally, it's imperative that there is a referral system in place to enabling a global response to cyber tip line reports. So what they're saying here is, the US can only do so much, and they need to be able to contact law enforcement agencies in different countries. As of 2021, 84 law enforcement agencies in 143 countries around the world have direct access to cyber tip line reports. Wow. There are 71 international police forces who are able to receive cyber tip line reports directly, and 61 additional countries who are able to receive reports through a U.S. federal law enforcement attaché. Interpol also assists in the dissemination of cyber tip line report information to certain countries where we don't have a direct connection to law enforcement. In support of easier adoption and use by international users, the case management tool fields and interface are available in 8 languages. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty here. This would be the, first off, we're going to take a look at the CSAM reports by electronic service providers. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and get both of these reports on one screen. Here is the meat and potatoes of what we're looking at today. Let me just make this one a little bit bigger. Okay, so 4chan. 4chan is a posting website. A lot of I am aware of 4chan because of the I forget what his name was. It was a story I was following from Toronto. The Alec Manassian was his name. He was the van driver. This is a posting site for this is a posting site basically is like a site that allows you to make different types of posts, and sort of like a message board. That's what I'm looking for. It's a message board basically. And there's a lot of extremist type stuff on there that I've heard about. I haven't really taken a look at it. So Airbnb, there were 62. Wow. So I wonder how it is that reports were made on Airbnb. Like I'm just curious as to the circumstances around this. But that Airbnb had 62 child sex abuse reports in 2021, and that it was an increase from 2020 is astounding. Clubhouse, Alpha Exploration. I wonder if, no, so they weren't reporting in 2020. So Alpha Exploration Company. This is the social media platform that is audio. This is audio. This is an audio only platform, social media platform, where you just go and have conversations with your voice. And there were 620 reports on their platform in 2021. Amazon, which I'm assuming owns Twitch. So this is something that I think is something to note, that 99 reports in 2021 and 2,200 reports. What I'm thinking is that they have I'm thinking that Amazon has done something sneaky here, and they've essentially split up. Maybe it wasn't Amazon that did this, but I'm thinking that if we look for Twitch here, they will likely have, yeah. So Amazon, which owns Twitch, a 4,000 report increase over the last year. Apple has had a decrease in the number of child sex abuse reports on their platforms, primarily because I think that Apple really doesn't have social media for people to be sharing stuff like this. But I think this might include, I'm not positive, I'm almost positive that this may include, for instance, the drive for uploading. I forget what it's called. I don't think it's, I'm not thinking of AirDrop. What am I thinking of? Oh, iCloud. So I'm not sure if this encompasses iCloud reports. I'm not positive. AT&T WorldNet services. Ask FM. This is a search engine. Ask FM made 117 reports last year. Badu. Badoo is a dating platform which kids are on. I wonder if that's up. No, they weren't even reporting in 2020. Although what is likely to happen here is that when one company ends up on this list here in 2020, that they may change their name and get some other type of name to show up on this report in 2021 differently. I'm positive that that has happened. Canva, the Photoshop-like app that is web-based, one child sex abuse report. Chatango, I have no idea what that is. Classmates Online. Good on Chatango, I guess, for a reduction. That's when you look at 18 reports in 2020, and then let's see what Chatango is. This is a chat room. Chatango allows users to create a free profile and form public and private chat rooms. That is really surprising, that a chat room would only have 18 reports, and then they have reduced that to 2 reports. Oh, here we go. Here is what we came for, people. Wow, look at this. So there's 2 big numbers here. This number and this number. I'm going to explain this one in just a second, but let's talk about Facebook. 22 million. Let's see what it was. I've already talked about it. It was 20 million. 20,307,216 in 2020. So almost 2 million more reports on Facebook platforms. So this has an asterisk, which means this encompasses all of their platforms. And this one doesn't have an asterisk. So maybe they have split it up. Oh my God. Oh my God. So last year's report, Instagram wasn't listed on here, as you can see on the right-hand side here. So what Facebook has done, or what NCMEC has done, is they've broken it down by the different service. So they're not on, so this was simply on Facebook platforms. I wonder what this is a link to here. This is a link to Facebook's online child protection a page of them talking about child protection. Phoenix International. So this is just remarkable. So if you take a look at Facebook platforms, there has been a massive increase. So 2 million reports, at least almost 2 million reports on Facebook alone. This was a combined number over here from 2020. So now what we're saying is add an additional 3 million. 3 more million just for Instagram. So we're up to 25 million. So what else? We're talking about Instagram. We're talking about WhatsApp. Where's WhatsApp here? WhatsApp, 1.3 million. So we're talking about an additional 4.3 million. And then what are we also talking about? We're talking about what's their other platform? We're talking about Messenger. Messenger. So I think they have combined Messenger into, Facebook. I'm just blown away by this. Oh, this is definitely an increase, guaranteed. So this is another problem area, which is dating sites and dating apps. All right, let's go back up to Facebook though. Oh, sorry. Let's go back up to Phoenix. What is Phoenix? You might be asking yourself. Phoenix is the company that owns OnlyFans. So think about this for a minute here. 2,900 reports of child sex abuse reports, almost 3,000 reports on Phoenix platforms. So on OnlyFans. OnlyFans, 3,000 reports. And I want to make an emphasis. I want to really emphasize this here, because one thing that OnlyFans claims that it does to protect people is that they get the identification from people to set up accounts. So there's no sharing from if you're a user on OnlyFans, there's no sharing. Well, there may be, I guess, in messages, but when you're a user, there's a low likelihood that you have the ability to post anything significant that would be reportable in this kind of number if you're just a user, because the only thing that you can do is you can message creators on OnlyFans. And I don't know, I'm not positive, but I will find out. If you can send a picture or video message if you're a user to a creator on OnlyFans. But what this is likely indicating, because we already know from BBC reports, for instance, did a story on this. The BBC went on and investigated OnlyFans, showing that children were getting added to OnlyFans as creators from using fake ID. So think about this for a minute. Using fake ID, there were still 3,000 reports. Or just having an ID system in place, 3,000 reports. Think about 65 Square for a minute now, please, as an alternative. 65 Square, we are giving away 1 free year of service for 65 Square. We're doing a monthly draw, and that is essentially for 1 year of service on 65 Square when we launch. We are building 65 Square with these numbers in mind here. This is what drives us to be making the safest social media platform on planet Earth. This is what's driving us right here. These numbers. GoDaddy. GoDaddy is a registrar. So I guess somebody registered email addresses. This is an increase right here. 875,000. I know that for sure. Where is Google? Google's right here. So on Google platforms, 546,000 in 2020, 875,000 reports, over 750,000 reports on Google platforms. Now, where is this happening? I don't know. I would assume it's happening in stuff like Google Drive, because once you upload your image or video to Google Drive, then Google has the right to scan it, and they do scan it. They scan it and then they make reports. Also, I guess on Google platforms, which might be just Google itself, them having search results come up and them making reports about search results. Grindr, this is a huge increase. Look at this huge increase from 2020. This is a huge increase. I want to find the percentage of this as an increase. Grindr 10,000. It's more than 166% increase. That's a huge this is whatever percentage this is. It's a huge increase. Huge increase. Grindr, if you don't know, is a gay dating app, primarily used by males. Hinge, 6 reports. Hinge just came out the other day. Like last year, Hinge became a thing. This is a dating app. 6 child sex abuse reports on their platform. And why? So Hinge is owned by Match Group. Let's see what other brands Match Group owns. Match Group brands. So Match Group includes Plenty of Fish, Tinder, OkCupid, Pairs, Our Time. Okay, let's see. Let's get I'm gonna write some of these numbers down here. I'm writing stuff down from these reports. I'm writing stuff down. Hinge, 6 reports. By the way, if you haven't heard, Ryan Reynolds is a board member on Match Group. Ryan Reynolds is essentially, Ryan Reynolds has supported these 6 child sex abuse reports on Hinge. OkCupid, let's see if they are separately indexed here. Yep, 178. Probably because not a lot of people are using OkCupid. 178. Match. Let's just see if Match is kind of indexed here. So Match Group as a whole, 158 reports. 158 reports. Meetic. Meet Me is another dating platform, but I'm not going to group this together. I'm just looking at Match Group platforms that I can recognize. Plenty of Fish is one of them. I find it very hard to believe that there was no reports involving Plenty of Fish. Am I missing something here? That may be just grouped together with, maybe just grouped together under Match Group. But I'd like to know why it is that they're doing this. So just on Tinder, 36, 42. So I wonder why it is that oh my God, Snapchat 512. This is definitely, I'm almost positive this is up. Snapchat, 144,000 child sex abuse reports in 2020 and 512,000 in 2021. Just atrocious. Zoom video communications, 548. Pairs. Let's see if Pairs is here. No. So no reports on pairs, or no reports on pairs, or, all right, so there's a huge list here. There's like 40 different, maybe 20 different. So Black people meet. Nope, not listed here. So I'm assuming that because they have match group kind of bundled as one, and that's obviously different than, so they have match group at 158. They have OkCupid at 178. Six plus 178 plus 158 plus 36, 42 equals 3,984 child sex abuse reports on match group owned platforms. Match group, that's an increase of 30. So a little bit less than 600 more reports. So Ryan Reynolds, I know you're watching this. Why are you supporting Match Group? Obviously, this $2 billion company that you support isn't doing a good job of keeping children or child sex abuse material off its platforms. So please, Ryan Reynolds, speak up at your next board meeting. Speak up and make this number disappear. I think that you have the power to. We know that children go on dating sites. We know this. But what is it that you can do, Ryan Reynolds, about this? We're obviously going in the wrong direction. Stripe is a credit card processing. Oh my God. Walt Disney Company won. I believe that was the same number as last year as well. For whatever reason, I think that, oh, they had two child sex abuse reports. How did Walt Disney Company get 2 child sex abuse reports on their platforms? I don't know. Sony Interactive, that may be a little bit easier to understand. And that has been an increase in the last year. A little bit more than 1,000 reports on Sony platforms, which likely includes, or primarily includes, on PlayStation devices and online systems that are connected to video gaming. So I think that this gives a reasonable user a good picture that there has been an increase across all of these platforms. And if you see something that sticks out to you on here, speak up about it, put it in the comment section. If you want to get involved in a letter writing campaign against one of these companies, please contact us. Please contact us. We would love to have your support in doing that. National Center on Sexual Exploitation. Oh my gosh. Xbox, Microsoft, 78,000 images. And I wonder why they wanted to make some kind of significance to, they wanted to distinguish Xbox from this number for some reason. It's probably Microsoft. So where did the rest of these child sex abuse reports come from? I don't know if the small percentage of them are coming from Xbox. Is this maybe Microsoft servers, perhaps? Like Hotmail, for instance, or other places like that? I'm not positive as to where this might be. Media Lab, Kick. A lot of kids use this app and platform for chatting. Media Lab AI. I'm assuming that this is the same, one and the same. Meet Group Mega. MindGeek. So this is the owner of Pornhub. MindGeek. All right, so MindGeek, free sites. So they've changed their name to MG from all the disturbing revelations that have come out against MindGeek. So this is significant. This is going in the right direction, MindGeek. So good on you. Still, this is nearly 10,000 reports, but a significant increase of 3,000 less reports from 2020 to 2021. So congratulations, MindGeek. I was just in Montreal, and my child and I, for some reason, we went to the burned down house of the owner of one of the owners of MindGeek. We visited it. It's sort of like a tourist destination. I don't know why we did that. We're a little weird, but we visited Faraz Antoun's burnt down house, his $20 million mansion that he was building, and it burned down. And we took pictures. It's all fenced off, but you can see that the arch is still there. Anyways, let's move on here. The purpose of today's live stream and about talking about this is to continue this conversation about protecting children online. If you care about protecting children online, I would encourage you to get on our website, helpusdefend.com, to make sure that you have a role in protecting children and vulnerable people online. All right, so let's look at these notifications report. So this is notifications sent by NCMEC to the, wow, oh my gosh, this is very interesting. I'm not sure why I didn't look at this report last year, but so this is their response time. So look at this Russian site, took 13 days to respond. And so NCMEC sent 2 notifications to them. So the average days to respond and take down materials. Let's take a look at Facebook. Wow, look at this, 28 requests, 28 requests. And it took Facebook an average of 7 days to respond. 7 days. Remarkable. With the amount of resources and money that Facebook has, 7 days for them to respond or take down an image that's essentially being claimed to be child pornography is remarkable. Again, Google, 6 days to respond, 975 notifications sent. This is likely on their search results. On their search results, being the Google search results that you see, 6 days to respond to this. Again, with the amount of resources and the numbers of people that work at these huge companies, why don't they have people that are dedicated to this that can be responding in a faster manner? I don't know. Maybe that's a question that you would like to ask them. Wow, look at this. MindGeek Pornhub. Average time notification sent 3, less than a day. Less than a day. They have changed things around at Pornhub. This is significant to talk about here. I want to congratulate them, although in a very, very shady manner, because this should have been like this before. I mean, this is a porn site. And when you have a response time like this, you know that they have been scolded for doing some really bad things. But it's good that they're moving in the right direction. Microsoft Corporation. Microsoft Bing, I forgot about that. So this might be where a lot of those search results come up, or a lot of those child sex abuse reports came from on Bing, because Bing is a search engine. Let's see about, no, Phoenix isn't listed here. Let's see if OnlyFans is listed here. Nope, OnlyFans is not listed here. Let's see about Tinder. Not listed here. So they're not really a social media platform. But let's just say Match Group. So what this is essentially saying is that there's no notification sent to Match Group. So I'm assuming that whenever a child sex abuse report came up, that it was just removed from Match Group. So most of these companies, I'm assuming, are really in the business of hosting stuff and having a place for stuff to reside. So, 12 seems to be, some of the high numbers here, 12 days to respond. If you have a site that you're hosting and you are essentially, as the general public, making a report, or if you are NCMEC asking a tech company to take this stuff down, these 12 days seems like it's on the high side here. Average is 1 day. Average across all of these platforms is 1 day, 1.2 days. But what we're seeing here is obviously huge, huge numbers in comparison when it comes to Facebook, when it comes to big tech companies. 7 days it's taking for them to respond. 7 days. Imagine if you're a child in that position and you've contacted NCMEC to ask them to ask for some help or some takedown action, and it takes 7 days. 6 days for Google. Yeah, these are mainly hosting platforms. Stuff where media is hosted. Microsoft Corporation, 8 days. MySpace is still alive? I did not know that. 4 days. 4 days! 4 days for MySpace. Like, all this time that MySpace has been alive, they basically are just doing nothing over there. So this is second last report we will look at. There's one more report to look at, reports by country. Oops. So reports by country, again, they want to emphasize that the reports by country aren't necessarily an indicator of where child sex abuse material is coming from. Keep in mind that with proxies and stuff like VPNs and stuff like that, that's why this may not be the most accurate set of numbers. But this is a breakdown of reports by country. We see large numbers here from Algeria. I believe that's in Africa. Azerbaijan, I don't know where that is. This is a country, apparently. Bangladesh, India, 1.7 million reports from India. Brazil, large number. Burma, large number. Cambodia, Canada, 62,000 reports, child sex abuse reports. Egypt, Ecuador. And what NCMEC is essentially saying is that most of these reports are coming from outside of the US. Let's see how many reports came from within the US. So 716,000. So that's not the majority, obviously, here. Vatican City, the Pope, where the Pope lives. One child sex abuse report from Vatican City. It's obvious that's what? UAE, 327,000. Let's see. So again, the big numbers here. Saudi Arabia. Where did Saudi Arabia go? 708,000. 3.1 million reports from Philippines, Pakistan. These are some alarming numbers. India. Oh, wait a minute. So India. What did I say earlier? Did I miscategorize where a country was? I'm sorry if you live in that country. I believe I did. Oh, Bangladesh. So is Bangladesh not in India? So 1.7 million. And then 4.6 million. I'm finding out where Bangladesh is. It's a country. It's a country in South Asia. For whatever reason, I thought it was in India. So I'm sorry, Bangladesh. On the southern coast, suburban, shared with eastern India. So it's right beside. So it's right beside India. So India is a different country than Bangladesh. I don't know why. I think maybe, is there a city that is also Bangladesh? Maybe. No. Anyways. A lot of information and data to think about. Again, this is the NCMEC reports from 2021. For 2022, we won't see this data until likely March of next year. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, like this video, please, and share. I'm going to encourage you also to get on our other social media, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those help us defend, or our website, helpusdefend.com. And if you want to help us protect children and vulnerable people online, please send us an email from our website, helpusdefend.com, or info@helpusdefend.com. All of those links are in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Keep your kids safe and check in with them on a regular basis to know what they're doing online. We'll see you next time.